Tanwa Koya is the Executive Secretary of the Lagos State Water Regulatory Commission. She's heading an agency that was established to regulate the water and wastewater sector of Lagos State. The commission was established at a time many Nigerians believe market regulators would rather protect investors' interests rather than uphold the rights of consumers, especially the vulnerable part of the society. Her target is to ensure equal distribution of service by checkmating service providers' tendency to offer premium service to the rich who can afford their services while ignoring or rendering poor services to the poor.
One of the things that we have to do is to formalize the water sector. Because if you don't have a formal water sector, to regulate and understand the activities of those players in the sector will be a bit difficult. So one of the things that we do is to license everybody that is responsible for providing public service in terms of water supply. And that framework is being developed right now and will be rolled out very soon. Now, with respect to services that are not by the state utility, which is Water Corporation, which is quite extensive in Lagos State, the way that we deal with that is multi-level. For example, if you are a consumer that has your own private supplies, like from your boreholes, we tend to understand that until you have state service at your doorstep, you do need to have supply, access to supply. So we try to educate you on how to interface with that borehole to ensure that you're dealing with it safely, the water is safe for you, and your neighbors and the environment is not compromised by your own activities. And that is part of the things that we've been looking at since we've been here. Now, if you are a small-scale seller, you have a tap in front of your house, you're selling to the public. The quality of the water that you're selling to the public is the responsibility of government to look at. And therefore, that is why one of the things that we're rolling out this month is the regulations for drinking water quality that actually has a wide application. As long as what you're doing supplies water to the public, and not just for your own use, then that water will be regulated as to quality. And I think no responsible government will actually do any less than that. We have a licensing program. Okay, if you are supplying water to the public, you're required to get a license from the commission. Because with the license also comes a list of rules and regulations and requirements, including reporting requirements. You need to take water quality tests from your water. We also reserve the right to visit you, as we deem necessary. Don't forget that water, if you supply bad water to people, the impact is phenomenal. You can actually get to kill off as many people at one fell swoop, And so Lagos State government is taking that very seriously. Don't forget that also people that go break into pipes, those activities actually have a direct contamination effect on water supply. So this affects them as well. And this is not really new. The law has been on ground since 2004. It's just that now we're implementing.
Although the commission she heads is a first in Nigeria, questions are already being asked about its importance, accusing the government of duplicity of function.
We actually regulate the service providers. I think that is a point I need to make. Not the consumers. We regulate the service provider. Our interface with the consumer is to the extent that we want you to pay for services. Because if you don't pay, that service cannot continue. So from the perspective of the consumer, we want to assure you that whether you're getting from Water Corporation or from any other private supplier, okay, you're getting qualitative service. Water Corporation is the only formal service provider that we have. Now, for the other informal ones, you're talking about the private suppliers, the tanker. We have tanker services regulations that are coming out. It's going to be issued before the end of the year. This is a regulation that requires the tanker operators to disinfect their tankers, to wash their tankers. They are branded. They have a regulatory commission stamp that says that this tanker is used for drinking water purposes only. And if you go and buy water from a non-branded tanker, you really can't guarantee the quality of the water that you're buying. So it's a very extensive regulation for the tanker services operators. We're actually meeting with them very soon to discuss it, to enlighten them on why we need to do this and what they need to do. And in fact, we've gone further to actually put in the regulations a methodology for disinfection. So that if you don't know what you're supposed to do or what we mean by disinfection, that regulation actually tells you what we mean by disinfection. It also talks to the people that operate filling points. These are what you should look for in tankers before you fill. We cannot say because we are not having 100% government service, so the rest of the people that are not having service from government should not be protected. And that is what we're doing. NAFDAC is a federal government agency responsible for quality control of packaged foods and packaged water. And therefore you find that most goods and services that are food and drugs, in this instance water qualifies for food, have NAFDAC number. That is their remit, and that is what they're created to do. And that is why you find that pure water sellers, bottled water sellers all have NAFDAC number. We are a municipal regulator. Basically means that if you have a service that allows you to supply water to the public, not necessarily packaged, pipe-borne water, bucket water, you know, this supply is not for your personal use, but for the public. We will regulate the quality of that water, because definitely the duty to supply water comes with the duty to supply qualitative water. So if you're supplying water to the public, whether you are a school, you have a water system whereby you supply water to children, you're a hospital, you know, definitely the quality of that water becomes the responsibility of the state government, and that's part of our remit here.
With the Lagos State Water Master Plan comes some expectations. Citizens expect reliable water delivery service. Meanwhile, they are expected to be willing to pay more. Right now, the Water Corporation says it charges less than 1 naira for 50 liters of water, whereas the informal water sector charges about 500% more than its rate.
One costs 50 naira. So, and if you are buying many, like 12 here is 600 naira.
I dare say there is no water agency in Nigeria today that breaks even, that covers its cost of operation. There's no water agency in Nigeria today. We are all greatly, most are subsidized by their governments. For us to be able to run efficiently, we must look at tariff and you know, make it more reasonable. For instance, today our tariff, our meter tariff, is 50 naira per cubic meter. A cubic meter is 1,000 liters. That is 5 drums, the equivalent of 5 drums of diesel for 50 naira. You agree with me? That works out to 5 kobo per liter. You'll agree with me that that is ridiculously and unsustainably low.
More so, for it to perform at full capacity, more of its infrastructure needs to be upgraded. The Lagos State Water Corporation total asset is worth around 40 billion naira. It operates 11 service areas with 3 major waterworks in Adiyan, Iju and Akute, which produce 119 million gallons per day. There are 48 mini and macro waterworks with 91 million gallons per day. Its transmission maze is just 180 kilometers and its distribution maze is just over 2,000 kilometers. The reality is, majority of these are more of liabilities than assets.
Over the years, you know, there's been more focus on the construction of mini waterworks. These are, you know, these are ground water treatment plants of limited capacities ranging from 1 million gallons per day to 2.4 million gallons per day. But given the population of the state today, what we need are large water schemes, such as Adiyan, with an installed capacity of 70 million gallons per day, Iju, an installed capacity of 45 million gallons per day. Adiyan Phase 1 was constructed in 1991. Today, as we speak, the construction of Adiyan Phase 2, which commenced in 2013, is ongoing. which will give us additional 70 million gallons per day. It will be completed by 2016. That will further inject an additional 70 million gallons per day into existing water scheme. Adding phase 2, which is being fully funded by the Lagos State government with state-of-the-art technology since adding phase 1 of 23 years ago, will serve majorly the western axis of the state, which hitherto is underserved by the combination of Iju and Adio.
Lack of potable water has been linked to poverty. It is said to damage developing economies such as Nigeria's. An estimated 5% of developing countries' GDP is lost to illness and deaths caused by dirty water and lack of sanitation. Nigeria loses hundreds of billions of naira due to poor water and sanitation. Wastage is another battle that is difficult to overcome. Despite its shortage, many households still waste water without giving a thought to the impact this causes.
A lot of people have internal leakage in their homes and they don't bother to address it. A bucket of water, a tap dripping a drop per second in a day will fill a 15-liter bucket. So you can imagine that on a continuous basis. But with metering, people will be forced, people will be compelled to look inward and address internal leakage.
Program for the day. Thank you for watching. Do join us next time if you could. From me, Ayala Kasim, and the rest of the team, it's bye for now.